Welcome back to my channel. This is episode 11. I'll be talking about kindness as weakness. Is it a weakness? And how to use our kindness as strength. So before I learned to stand in my power and started my healing journey, I used to ask myself the question, why do people take advantage of me all the time? I'm such a nice person. Why are they doing these things? Well, in this episode today, you're going to learn how to unlock your kindness from thinking that it's a weakness. So when we think of our kindness as a weakness, it hinders our ability to assert ourselves. And then we allow others to exploit us and or manipulate us, and we're taken advantage of. And why would other people do this? Well, basically we allow it is what's happening, but they're partly responsible as well. So others can interpret our kindness as vulnerability, and then, like I said, we get taken advantage of. It's easier for them to manipulate us when we're not standing in our power. A couple episodes ago here on my channel, when we're not standing in our power, they interpret us as being vulnerable and kind of an easy target and easy to manipulate. So there's misconceptions that kindness implies a lack of assertiveness, and many of us who have that misconception, I know for myself, I spent most of my life, I've always been a very kind person. I'm warm and caring, but I was always questioning why people were taking advantage of me, and I didn't realize that it was because I mistook my kindness as weakness. So that misconception that kindness implies a lack of assertiveness doesn't just happen from the outside and how others treat us, but it can also be the way we're thinking of it as well. So cultural perceptions can lead others to think that we are vulnerable because we are so kind, and others' personal experiences with us. So I can only think of this phrase that they've gotten away with it, but if the history of our relationship with this person is that they're able to manipulate us because of our kindness and take advantage of us, then that would set a pattern that they feel that they could continue to, treat us that way. So some actually have, some people with not very good intentions have a desire to exploit another's generosity and kindness, which is not a good thing. But anyway, so that's how others may use our kindness or why they might use our kindness and exploit it and take advantage of us. So here's examples of when kindness is actually a weakness. As I mentioned, others taking advantage of us, and they exploit our willingness to help without them reciprocating that balance in a relationship, that balance in a friendship. When others don't respect our boundaries, despite our kind gestures, is when kindness can be seen as a weakness. And when we avoid confrontation to keep the peace, I'm guilty of that. Not so much in my life now, but for many, many years. And it goes back to knowing my self-worth and standing in my power. So those are examples of when kindness is weakness, but here's when kindness isn't weakness. It's not weakness because kindness reflects empathy, compassion, and strength, especially in the world that we live in today, although I feel that overall things are getting a little bit better as far as people being confrontational and argumentative out in public. I think everybody's kind of relaxing a little and starting to be nicer to each other. I've seen it. But so kindness isn't weakness when it reflects empathy and compassion for others and for ourselves, by the way. Kindness shows resilience in a world that doesn't always appreciate kindness, going back to what I just said about our culture and our society and how we, for a few years there, had kind of gotten into a very mean-spirited way of dealing with each other. The key to kindness not being a weakness is that the true strength in being kind lies in us being able to maintain healthy boundaries, but also an open heart, an empathy and compassion for mankind and others. That's the true strength. in our kindness, and don't let other people's opinions sway you on how kind you are to others. That is your choice, always will be. Anyway, so standing up to others and using our kindness as a strength. This is how we can start to do that. Use I statements. I would appreciate it if you didn't call me between the hours of 4 and 8 p.m. I feel frustrated when you treat me that way, say those type of things to me after I've just done this kind gesture for you. So expressing our feelings using I statements, not attacking the other, but just claiming how we feel about the situation. So staying calm is always important. When we're standing up to others, we don't want to create more conflict or any conflict at all if we can help it. There are ways to be assertive in our communication without stirring up everybody's emotions and causing, like I said, conflict. So by clearly expressing our thoughts and feelings, we are able to use our kindness as a strength. And again, staying calm and doing it in a non-confrontational manner can make all the difference, And remember, we're talking about kindness, so you want to approach each of these ideas with a heart full of kindness. So maintaining a confident tone shows that you are sure of who you are and where you stand in your place in the world. And, again, it can always be done with kindness. Avoid being confrontational, which I mentioned. Actively listening to others' perspectives is really important and can be a huge gesture of kindness toward another. Everyone wants to have their voices heard. We all have that desire and that need to feel that our ideas, our thoughts, our feelings are validated somehow outside of us. And while it's good to be self-independent and standing in our own power, it's also important to offer that grace and kindness to others around us, especially when they're expressing themselves. So when we communicate our boundaries clearly in a kind and thoughtful way, we can definitely exhibit strength through our kindness by letting others know, what our boundaries are. So moving on, we can see our kindness as strength when we observe these things. So it helps us to build positive relationships. And whether it's a new relationship or one from someone you've known your whole life, if there's a pattern of them taking advantage of you and seeing your kindness as weakness, that can be changed, but you're the one, that needs to change it and help build that into a more positive relationship if you can, more balance of give and take, and hopefully see that relationship grows and expands. We see our kindness as strength when we see how we're able to contribute to harmonious community and using our kindness to help reach out and help those around us. And that can take form of, many different forms, but volunteering comes to mind. Our kindness can be seen as strength when it's expressed with intention and genuine care toward whoever we are addressing. And, it doesn't have to be like in a conversation. It just can be calm if you have a kind and warm, caring heart. Carrying that with you always into all aspects of your life. But as long as your intention is where the real power lies in everything that we do. So, when you're moving about in the world with an open, warm, and caring heart, with standing in your power at the same time, it can be a very powerful thing. So, our kindness is strength when it promotes empathy and compassion, of course, in ourselves, but in others around us. And there can be a ripple effect when we enter an environment and do it openly and warmly and kindly. It can shift the mood of the whole room. And I know that from personal experience. Kindness as a strength also fosters understanding and connections with others, and that goes along with what I mentioned about it helps us to build positive relationships. So fostering understanding and connections, taking time to listen to others, and setting boundaries when necessary. So here's some examples of public figures. I was just looking at the list. They have all crossed over, but so historical, I guess you could say, public figures who are excellent examples of people who live their lives from a place of kindness and exhibited a great amount of strength. And these are just a few examples. Martin Luther King, Mr. Fred Rogers, Princess Diana, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, and Mahatma Gandhi. That's a short list, but I'm sure that I know that there's many others, but you've heard all these names, you're familiar with these people, and their overall vibe of their life, I'm sure, came to mind when you heard their name. And they are well known and will be throughout time as people who were kind and strong. So, short video today. I'll be making a sound bath video and releasing that within the next few days. But this is my little lesson today on our kindness, unlocking your kindness from thinking that it's a weakness. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon.